Aegis in Greek mythology is a shield. Sword versus shield.
What's up, y'all? You know what time it is. It's about to be that time. About to be that time. That time. That time.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Drake? Drake?
We know all about you!
Drake?
Yes!
And we're back! That doesn't feel right, does it? And we're here for the first time. Yeah. Minimalist setup, because it's all I've unpacked so far. Chrissy and I have been moving over the course of the past week, which is why this video is delayed. We'll get into some aspects of 1032, but we're going to largely spend a lot of time talking about Sword. Why? Because my big Sword theory got, a couple of check marks next to it after this chapter. It was an agenda-filled chapter, okay? And to all the people who commented on the laws in Sword theory that said Sword and CP0 will never fight, they did. They sure as hell did. Drake and Monocle Man from CP0 have clashed, which is something that I was waiting for, and it has happened, and it was glorious, and I cannot wait for more. More than anything right now, I want to see Drake's reaction to CP0 being on Onigashima, because that's going to lead to more information on Sword. Does CP0 know about Sword? Do they know about Drake?
Another one.
What I believe is that Sword is an organization within the Marines that is against the world government and CP0. The reason why I believe that is because when I think about the end game of the series, Luffy teaming up with good Marines, which has been a theme throughout the story, like going back all the way to Alabasta with Smoker and Tashigi, and like sort of muddying the waters of just where their allegiances lie, right? We see that again in Dressrosa with Fujitora. It's this idea where, there are multiple versions of justice within the Marines in itself, right? But I think that the members of Sword follow a path called true justice. And I do not believe that members that believe that absolute justice is the right justice. I don't think that they have anything to do with Sword, all right? So Kainu is not part of Sword. Will we ever see Law revealed to be in Sword? That's the thing that's up in the air, even though there is an alarming amount of evidence behind it. And also to all of the, I see a lot of things online where people are like, Randy Troy made his video on Sword months after it was on Reddit. I'm the guy who put it on Reddit.
Savage.
Hi, I'm the guy. Just gotta get that out there. I still believe that Garp is at the top of it because Garp is such an enigmatic character that if he was proven to be the leader behind Sword, the leader, the person in charge of this coup against the world government, it would just take his character into the stratosphere. He would, he's already a goat, but he would be, like real, like Goaty McGoat, like if he gets up there like that, right? So we only know two members realistically of Sword, and that's Drake and Kobe, which is where the Law theory came from, because Law is tied to both of them. Drake through his flashback, and it was the first person they ever spoke to in the series. Kobe because of the Rocky Port incident connection. Kobe being the hero of the Rocky Port incident, Law being the mastermind of the Rocky Port incident. Okay. From there, you can speculate, the people that are tied to Drake and Kobe, right? So Kobe, his mentor is Garp. Drake's mentor is Suru. So Suru, I believe, is a member of Sword. Garp, I believe, is a member of Sword. I also believe that Aokiji is a member of Sword based on how much he looks up to Garp. And what is Aokiji doing right now? He's also infiltrating an Emperor's crew, Blackbeard's. Fujitora could very well be a member of Sword. We can get more into that maybe in a separate video where I sort of break down his character and like, you know, his role in Dressrosa and why it could, you know, put him in position to be with Sword. I mean, definitely the idea that he's trying to, you know, dismantle the three, you know, the balance of power. A lot of people posit that Smoker could be a member of Sword, but I think that the conversation that he has with Aokiji at Punk Hazard sort of debunks that. I don't think that Smoker knows about Sword, but he's definitely a prime candidate for Sword. But you know who does know what's going on? Monocle Man. He knows about Sword. Now this makes sense, right? Because CP0 is supposed to be the highest intelligence organization within the government. So they should know if there is a secret faction of Marines against the world government. Now the question that remains there is, why would they let Sword continue if they know that they're moving in the shadows, right? Well, I mean, we've all seen TV and movies, you know, the bad guys always kind of want to see them, you know, get to a certain point in their plan before anything really happens, you know, or collect evidence against them to then bring to, you know, the Celestials to excommunicate all of these good Marines, right? Basically now all I'm waiting for is like Drake to get back onto a snail and call one of the higher ups in Sword, whether that's Garp, whether that's Aokiji, and just say, hey, they know, right? And then that starts a whole new just barrel falling down a mountain, you know, a domino effect of different situations and scenarios. I think that Sword wants the same thing that Dragon wants, and I think that the Revolutionary Army and Sword are very much alike. Garp is going his way about everything from the shadows within the Marines. Dragon is going his way about everything from the shadows of just the world. But they're in communication, right? Because in Post Enies Lobby, Garp says to Luffy, hey, I heard you saw your dad when I talked to him. One interesting thing about the chapter is that this particular CP0 agent is missing, right? And I think it's a missed opportunity from Oda because this guy has a long arm, so it would have been cool, you know, to see that guy fighting Apu, because then it would be like long arm versus long arm. So missed opportunity there. Where is this guy? Could he potentially run into Law? That would be interesting, especially considering Law was the first person to introduce CP0 to us in Dressrosa. I still feel like Law's got to run into them at some point. Feed the agenda. Feed it. Feed it. Or could this long arm guy be Brook's fight? We already know from 3D2Y that Brook has an established relationship with the long arm tribe. So if I was going to pick any of the three CP0 agents for Brook to fight, this guy would be the one. Could he be on the other side of Kazenbo already chasing after them? But basically, if production on the weapons can stop, then that's really going to hurt all of the wars that the world government has a vested interest in around the world. And I think that that's a prime reason why they're trying to annex Wano to begin with. Because they know that Orochi is no longer working with them because Doflamingo's out of the picture. They're asking for Vegapunk. They're just asking for way too much. They know that Luffy and Kaido are scrapping, so it's like, this is a prime time to just come in, take over these, you know, factories and just sort of do this all our own. We'll send our slaves over there, they'll run the factories, and we can keep the wheels turning. Drake being there and Monocle Man going after Drake only implies to me that I'm somewhere in the right direction. That Monocle Man is trying to take out Drake before he can talk to, you know, the higher-ups in Sword and let them know any of the information that's going on. And also by stopping him from, you know, interfering with their affairs. They're not working together. They're not after the same things. The world government and the Marines are not the same. Sword versus Shield is real. All right? So the stuff with Zoro and King was fun, especially King doing his Shagan with his beak and all of that. But the most interesting thing comes at the end of it all, with Enma calling to Hiyori. Right? Now, Hiyori is the true owner of Enma. She gave it to Zoro, but that's her birth sword that came from her father, Odin. So, by playing the shamisen, is Enma like trying to speak to Hiyori? Now, if that's the case and Zoro can actually hear it, he must be in close proximity to Hiyori, which would then feed another, agenda of mine, a theory, where I believe that Zoro and Hiyori together are tied to the true end of Orochi. Because you go back to the chapter with the two of them at the shrine, where Zoro says that he wants to avenge Tonoyasu. But Hiyori says, no, I want to be the one to kill Orochi. Now, something that would be very fun, and I've said this before, is if during the 20 years, Denjiro was training Hiyori in the way of the sword. So if she can get her hands on Enma, and potentially also brought Ame no Habakiri with her to give to Momonosuke, who is now, older once they've finally had their reunion, we could see, and I truly hope, and please Oda, do not make Komurasaki just a non-combatant. I want to see Oden Nitoryu from Hiyori. Just imagine how badass that would be. Just imagine it. Put it in the ether, okay? Talk about it. I'll try and get Oda on speed dial. I need it. All right, I want to see King blast Zoro in through a wall, land next to Hiyori and Orochi. And maybe he's packed up, and she just picks up Enma, takes out Orochi. That's all I need. I just need it. I need it. Come on. Please, I need it. Please, I need it so bad. When we saw the storeroom silhouette, we were like, maybe Oda will go the Toki route. But for the past couple of months, I've been saying, nah, you know what, guys? I really think it's going to end up being Hiyori. Now, that doesn't mean that it can't be Toki, right? Because you go back to the Oden flashback, and there was that prominent scar that was built up. Could, during the course of a battle or something, her kimono get ripped, and we see the arrow scar, find out that it's been Toki the whole time. Or that part of it was Hiyori, and then part of it was Toki, and then we'll get some sort of flashback to understand which ones were really Hiyori and which ones were Toki. I don't know. That's if Oda wants to get really wacky. Right now, I'm just thinking it's Hiyori. And that's it. And I'm thinking Toki's actually dead. Because if we get into Toki, we're getting into some real shenanigans. If that's the case, someone's inevitably going to get sent into the future. That's it. Maybe multiple people. And I don't think that we're at the point of the story where something like that needs to happen unless Oda wants to give us a situation where the world is in chaos and that's what we're sent into. And then they have to save the world from chaos. That's a whole other thing that we can talk about if it ends up actually being Toki. But I'm not going to spend too much time on that if it's not that. Right now, Kazenbo is preventing CP0 from reaching Robin and Brook. And Robin and Brook are heading in the same direction as Yamato. So I'm hoping that Yamato can help defend Robin and Brook from CP0, and that all three of them can actually, fight one of the CP0 agents. Because that'll just give every Straw Hat and potential Straw Hat a fight against a CP agent, which would be a lot of fun. I don't see a lot of things getting in Yamato's way right now. I think that Yamato is going to get to the bottom. They're going to have an interaction with Orochi. They're probably going to get involved with all of this. Now that I'm thinking about this, say Zoro does get knocked into a wall, right? Hiyori takes Enma and has Ame no Habakiri. This is all, tinfoil headcanon. Dispatches Orochi, but Zoro is packed up. Someone needs to take on King. Maybe that ends up being Yamato. Zoro fans aren't going to like that. But Zoro will have his day in the sun no matter what. He already has had his day in the sun, because he blocked an attack from 2 Yonko. Alright? And he scarred Kaido. If Oda wants to continue this 100-chapter trend, which he has done now 2 chapters in a row, then I would fully expect some Denjiro action in the next chapter. We'll see. We'll see. I'm fully expecting King is going to get defeated sometime by 9:37. By 10:37. Because 9:37 was when Zoro beat Killer. And then also simultaneously got packed up. And then treated by Hiyori. And now Hiyori's back into the story as well. So there's a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of moving parts going on right now. And we'll just see how predictable Oda wants to be. Are we going to keep this 100 chapter thing up? Who knows? But either way, I want to thank everybody for hanging out with me today. I want to thank everybody that was really supportive of the move in the last stream, especially the goats of the stream, the 4 emperors. Vern, Ty, Zoe, and Fable. I also want to thank all of our members. We are at 121 members, so appreciate all of you guys. So shout out to Hikari Yu, Michael Wavy, Azal, Alexi, Tyler Patterson, and Eat Hams for joining. And then I also want to thank everybody that rejoined: Najib, Mukim, Mr. Venator 86, Harak H, Marios L, Ray Kaminari, my guy Sensei Inc., Schnaz Chan, Mark Creasy, and Lucky Man. So thanks to you guys. Appreciate all of you. And I'll see you real soon with 1033. I want everybody to have a great holiday if you celebrate Thanksgiving. And, we'll see. I'm going to get back to building the rest of the studio. What'll be behind me, in the rest of the videos. Not the mini setup. But we'll probably have the mini setup for at least a little bit. Okay? So thanks, everybody. Later.
I've been swimming deep, deep. Savage.